I'm Mary Lassity, the director of the Blockchain Center of Excellence here at the University of Arkansas. In today's episode, I am thrilled to welcome Kirsten Sandberg. She is I love your title, the editor in chief of the Blockchain Research Institute. And if you are in the blockchain space for all of 5 minutes, you will know who Don and Alex Tapscott are. They wrote the seminal book in this space called Blockchain Revolution back in 2015, and they are the co-founders of the Blockchain Research Institute. So Kirsten, welcome.
Thank you so much, Mary. I love what you're doing. This is so important. I think younger women need to hear about what women are doing in the blockchain space. And so thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. So can you tell us a little bit about what your role, what do you do for the BRI?
Sure. I am, as you said, editor-in-chief. I'm also the director of research. So in this role, I get to work with our researchers from the very beginning, the inception of their projects, all the way to publication. And it's I'm a publishing professional. I've spent the last 30 careers in the publishing industry, and it is a wonderful role for me. And the Blockchain Research Institute is a great place to work in this role, because we publish, all of our research in terms of the life cycle of an idea. That's how I think about our publications. We have the research itself, and then we publish an infographic around the research. We also do an introductory video, so my team writes the scripts, and those are for people who may not have time to read the full research piece. And then we do articles. We've written Harvard Business Review articles, MIT Sloan Management Review articles about the content aimed at people in the community, kind of community engagement, reaching out to professionals in the space. And we've done books. We've started a book series. When we get a body of work around a topic like supply chain, we package it together in a book and publish that to reach a different audience. It could be, more professional certification or academic, used in colleges and at various levels. And we've just started licensing the foreign translation rights to those books so that we are reaching foreign enterprise working in the blockchain space. And the last thing that we did, we have so much content, and it is a great place to be, that my team converted a lot of this content into 170 lecture scripts for our 2 Coursera courses. And so the people who take those courses get some kind of accreditation, some kind of credentials. So really, we're making the most of all the content we have across the life cycle of the ideas that we're publishing.
You certainly do. And just to circle back on some of the things that I've enjoyed consuming. So you have probably more white papers and original research papers in this area than any other institute that I'm aware of. I think the first year you had almost 80 different research contributions,
Yes.
and I'm sure your number is much larger. And I do like when you wrap these research into more consumable books. Like I have your book that focuses on supply chains. I have the book that Alex had edited that's focused on how this is going to disrupt financial services. So I really admire, yes, I really admire the way that, you're a communicator, that you recognize different target audiences. They need different formats. They need different messaging. Who's the hardest people to communicate about blockchains to? Is it the C-suite? Is it government officials? Is it regulators? Is it your parents? Who's hardest to explain the possibilities here?
I would say, we found that in every organization, and I think that some of the executives we've worked with have corroborated this. There's always someone in the organization who has a Bitcoin account, early on, has been trading, has wallets, is creating wallets. There are these people in organizations, and they have been, slowly pushing up, kind of groundswell, pushing up talking about this technology over over coffee in these community spaces. And somewhere along the line, someone says something to an executive, we need to be looking at this. And it's very difficult to get any kind of funding for, you know, projects, any kind of experiments without some solid business case. And that's where we really need to connect with the C-suite. And we usually can find an advocate somewhere in the C-suite or in that, that second layer of management. And the kind of research that we do, we hope they'll be able to take to their, C-suite and say, hey, read this. It actually lays out some use cases that some of our fellow industry members are, undertaking, or it provides a map, through which we can develop our own experiment. So I would say that executives are a challenge, and our research is designed to make it more accessible. You mentioned the other big group, which is regulators, government officials. Again, there are people in U.S. Congress who get it, who are advocating for it. And we certainly have now in the Biden administration, some folks within the financial regulatory bodies who understand this. Gary Gensler understands this, taught this at MIT. So we have people who get the technology and are willing to communicate with their peers, advocate for it, and lead discussions. Bring people together to have the necessary discussions. I would say that at those levels of government, we have people with some perspective and experience. I would think that across the country, maybe state by state, it's a different situation.
I really admired the piece that Don and Alex had did. It was essentially, hey, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, this is what your administration needs to do, right? So
yes,
I appreciate that. Was very attention grabbing, and I'm sure you had your hand in that paper, didn't you?
Yes, I'm so glad you read that.
That's great. So we're here because we want to also inspire the next generation of women. Do you have anything for our young female students that are here learning blockchains, or to a broader audience on some tips or some advice for them?
Wow. Well, I would say trust your training, trust your ability to learn. When you and I touched bases last time, Mary, I talked about how when I was in college, when I was a freshman, I was hired at a television station. It was a network, one of the big three network affiliates. And they hired me to be a computer graphics artist. And I had never worked with a computer before. I had been trained as an artist. I had taken typing, very valuable class when I was in high school. And I sat down at this $30,000, I think it was a color graphics weather system machine, and I just worked at it. I trusted what I had learned, and I focused, I was determined, and I kept at it. And so I think for any, woman who's interested in blockchain, trust your ability to learn. There's nothing, I haven't come across something that if I stuck to it, if I committed to learning it, I wasn't able to, I was able to I don't want to say master it, but I was able to enjoy it and knew enough of the technology where it pushed me to improve, what I was doing, and what I did with it pushed it. I could do more with the technology, if that makes sense. And I just love doing that, in television. It was wonderful.
I love your message of being a lifelong learner. I think that's what we want to raise in our young women and young men, right? Or however they identify their gender to be. And as a technology professor, I would say, what we're teaching you in the class here, the actual technology is going to have a shelf life. Right.
Yes.
And
Yes,
so you
absolutely.
really have to get into the habit of always engaging. And not only just teaching themselves. I think a really good way for young people is to do things like attend the blockchain global revolution, or we have a blockchain for business here, and to get in the habit of building their network. So where you want to
Yes.
be in your career,
Yes.
just start attending, just start showing
Yes.
up, and that's a really good place to learn.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I love how you said that. I mean, these ideas have a shelf life, just as, you know, the skills that we have using them, and continually be looking for the next idea, the next wave. And you're absolutely right. Staying connected is the way to stay on top of ideas.
Okay. Well, with that, Kirsten, I want to thank you so much for being with us today. I look forward to our
My
future
pleasure.
collaborations with the
Yes, I
BR.
look forward to seeing you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. Bye bye.